So I was in my early 30s and I was a freelance writer, and I was pretty much living hand to mouth because that's the life of a writer. And I used to do a lot of meditating on bringing abundance into my life. And I had read or heard somewhere that if you want to bring money into your life, you've got to start living like you have it. So my little sort of hack for this was to splurge on some kind of gourmet treat at the grocery store. I wasn't very adventurous, I know. And my treat that I used to splurge on were these fruit juice spritzers. They were just basically sparkling fruit juice. And the brand I liked was Newton's. I don't think they make them anymore. But my favorite flavor was black cherry, and that stuff was like holy water. I savored every sip. So I realized this living hand-to-mouth existence just wasn't going to work for me. I needed to step up my game and market and publish myself. But to do that, I needed flyers and I needed business cards. Now, this was early days of the internet, so people were still printing these things, and I didn't have money, so I needed a loan. And I did the math, and it was like $1,200. You know, it wasn't a lot. So I wrote up a business proposal and a plan, and I took it to my credit union. I'm like, I banked there for years, how could they turn me down? Well, they did. And so I went to a few other banks in town, and they all turned me down as well. And then I heard about this place called the Women's Business Incubator. And I met with a case manager there, and she said, Sarah, you are the type of person that the Women's Business Incubator was set up to help. There's no way you're going to get denied a loan. Well, the loan board denied me the loan. So, I was pretty dejected, and she's giving me the bad news, and she's like, I'm really sorry. And she says, well, now wait a minute. Have you tried Megabank? And I said, no, I haven't tried Megabank. And she said, you got to try Megabank. And I said, well, if all the other banks turn me down, including the Women's Business Incubator, who's supposed to help people like me, why is Megabank, the most prestigious bank in town, going to give me a loan? She said, just give it a try. So she writes this name down on a piece of paper and a phone number. It's a man's name. And I go home and I'm telling a friend of mine this story, and she says, girl, if you're going to go asking a man for money, you better get dressed up. She said, none of this tomboy shit that you're into. So I'm like, okay. So she talked me into buying a dress, and I never wore dresses. Of course, I got it at the thrift shop. And she lent me some makeup. I never wore makeup. And I even put on a pair of pantyhose. And we're talking July, so you know how desperate I was. So let me tell you people, I was so hot in that dress, right? No, I mean, I was really hot. It was like 85 degrees out, and I was walking to the bank, and I'm sweating like a pig, and I'm pitted out, and I probably stank. I was hot. So I'm standing on the street corner, waiting for the light to change. And there's a row of shops behind me, and I see this guy coming out of the shop. I'm, looking over to my left, and he's got this drinks can. And he's on a bike. He gets on his bike, and he pops the top, and he takes a sip, and he says, yuck! And he tosses this can to the side of the road. He takes off on his bike riding past me, and I'm thinking, you jerk. He just littered, for one thing, and I hate litter bugs. And then as I was watching this can, it was rolling toward me, kind of adjacent to the curb in the street. And it comes to a stop right in front of me. And the opening's like facing me. Well, would you believe it was a Newton's fruit juice spritzer, black cherry flavor. So it's hot, I'm thirsty. The guy only had his lips on it for a few seconds. I mean, come on. So I'm going to grab this can, but before I do, I look down the road, and there's this pickup truck barreling down the road. Of course, it's a pickup truck, it's Montana. And so I back off, and what happened next, the odds of what happened next were just so unbelievable that it was something you'd only see in a Hollywood comedy film. And I can just see the script directions now. Woman in a brand new dress, rejected multiple times for an itty-bitty bank loan, is standing on the corner waiting for the light. Cut to a shot of man throwing can in the street. Cut to a shot of the can rolling toward the woman and stopping right in front of her. Cut to a shot of the pickup truck barreling down the road. Cut to a shot of the tire running over the can. Cut to a shot of the liquid flying through the air. This is a slow-mo shot. Raining down on the woman, in her hair, her face, her dress, her arms. I am covered. I am 10 minutes away from what was probably the most important meeting of my life at that time, and I had just been baptized in sticky holy water. So, the light changes green, I am wiping my hair, I am wiping my face off, I'm trying to get it off my arms, I'm drying my hands on my dress. I get to the bank, there's no public bathroom, of course, so I'm making do out of the drinking fountain in the lobby, and I'm trying to discreetly, do this and get all cleaned up. And I meet with Mr. Loan Officer, and he's asking me about my business goals, and my loan needs, and my credit history, and 30 minutes later, I'm signing papers for a loan. Yeah. And he said, the money will be in your new bank account in a couple of days. You can withdraw that. Here's your payment, repayment plan and all that. Well, so Mr. Banker had given me or loaned me $10,000. This was a colossal amount of money for me at that time. I walked out of that place stunned. Well, I get home, and of course, the first thing I need to do is take a shower. Head straight for my bathroom. I stop and look at myself in the mirror. My hair is sticking up in all kinds of places where the juice had dried. And because I never wore makeup, I didn't know what happened when you wiped your eyes with mascara when your face was wet. Black streaks. I looked like I had been out for a night on the town and I hadn't come home to clean myself up for this meeting. Now, I don't know if Mr. Banker felt sorry for me, or maybe he was thinking, I don't know what this chick's got going on with her face and hair, but that dress sure is hot. So maybe it was just all that meditating that I had done that resulted in literally being rained on with abundance, sweet, sticky abundance, black cherry flavor. Thank you.